model kit review is of the 1979 Pontiac Firebird. It's a very large model. It's 1/16 scale. It's by MPC. And there's a picture of the finished model. And there's another picture of the finished model. And you can see there it's going to have quite a lot of detail. Pictures inside. That's really about it. Actually on the back they do have the parts listing. As you can see there are quite a lot of parts here. So let's open it up and have a look inside. Lots of parts here to go through. Let's start off with the body. So it's a fairly detailed body. Looks like this is not actually the door, it's going to be removed. The door is going to be put on and be openable. Here you can see some mold lines. Those need to be sanded down, otherwise fairly detailed and well made. It's a large model. Here's the cockpit. Here we have our wheels. These are made out of rubber. We've got some tread on there. They are regular size, kind of narrow. These next three sprues here, looks like we've got, this is our rear suspension with the springs. We've got our rear axle, and drive shaft will come in through there. Our fuel tank, here's the other side of the axle. Here we've got some pipes. Looks like the fan shroud and the radiator there. Got our sway bars. Our drive shaft up over here. Battery, brake booster, some of our belts and pulleys, and some other engine parts. This looks like part of our wheel hub and suspension parts there. Here we have our seats, reasonably well molded, though we do have some flashing. And here are our wheels, dashboard up over there, and looks like the lights for the front grille. Here are the insides of the doors. You can see the Pontiac, the Firebird logo there, and our steering wheel. This is probably our sun visors, the steering column. Next we have our chrome parts, and I don't really like this chrome. I have to spray it off and respray it. Wheels here. Got some engine parts and some light parts. The valve covers. Here's our dashboard, the instrument panel actually, and don't really like that at all. And then our exhausts. Here's our glass, and so we've got our, this is the Targa with the T-top, the top of the roof. Here's our rear glass and our front glass, and headlights, rear brake lights. And then over here, this is our front grille, front bumper rather, and rear grille there. Headlights going to go in there, and this looks like this is the lip for the back. Here we have our doors and wheel hubs and hinges. Here's our chassis, with the rear wheel wells already built in there. Now here we get to some of the detail. Here's our firewall for the engine. Here's our oil pan. Here's the engine block and transmission attached. A fan. Here's our license plate scoop for the front hood. Here's our front hood with our air intake. We have our headers, exhausts with the mufflers attached. All good level of detail. It is a very large model. And small parts for the engine, air intake, and exhausts. And then this looks like probably seat parts. Let's have a look at instructions and decals. So we do have some decals here. And let's have a look at those. We're looking for that classic Pontiac Firebird. Wow, look at that. Got the Trans Am. So depending on what color, you can do blue, gold, or red. Those are very nice. Here are the instructions. So it looks like we start off here with the engine. And we have two options there for the exhausts. And you build the parts for the chassis. I don't recall seeing metal springs. We'll have to look for those. And then we put exhaust parts together. And there's the other option for the exhaust, as well as the fuel tank. Then the rear axle goes on with suspension. Put the wheels together. Wheels go on. Engine is mounted. Next, the radiator is mounted. And we start to connect our hoses and lines. Here we're going to put the hood on, as well as start to build out the engine bay with the firewall. We also put in our glass and remove our doors. We're going to put our doors together here and mount those onto the body. Put the hinges on. So look here, we put our dashboard together. Now we have custom seats as well as the stock seats, and I actually kind of like the custom seats with the side, almost like a bucket seat. Hold your sides in, put those together. Next we put all of this into the main body and mount it onto the chassis. Put our lights on and front bumper. Next we put our air intake on there. And battery, remaining parts for the body, and rear bumper and grille, and the spoiler, as well as glass decal over there. All in all, very detailed model. It's a large model and fairly well molded.